Good afternoon, everyone. Just going to wait another minute and then we'll get started. Okay, welcome everyone to the first part of our two-part series on debt. This one being titled Building a Solid Foundation for Small Business Success, Demystifying Debt. My name is Takesha Welch, and we also have two other panelists, Sharina Thomas and Dante Hunt, who will be talking with me throughout this presentation. Like I said, this first of our two-part seminar, we will explore, discuss, and attempt to demystify and debunk any fears and answer any questions as best we can on debt. Our aim is to open dialogue on debt. We will use our knowledge, experience, and provide information on debt as we move through this presentation. BEDC, Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, is an agency that is established to guide, advise, educate, and assist business owners in Bermuda. This topic is one that we feel is timely and important for the business community. Your panelists today will be myself, Takesha Welch, Loan Portfolio Management Officer at BEDC. I've been a part of BEDC now for almost a year, and I have almost 17 years of banking experience. I've always worked within small business and the business community locally, and currently in my role, I am able to explore and assist clients as they're going through the hardships with meeting their debt obligations and any other obligations. Ms. Sharina Thomas is the owner of...
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharina. Thank you, Takesha, for the introduction. I am a bookkeeper, business owner, and a certified coach. My goal ultimately is to educate those within their businesses as to the financial health, how to make best decisions for long-term success, especially within that first 5-year window. So my acumen consists of just over 10 years experience in a variety of industries, which makes me a little more diverse as far as my understandings of the inner workings of businesses and to best assist business owners with their requirements and being compliant.
And then we have Mr. Dante Hunt. Would you like to introduce yourself, Dante?
Yeah, real quick. Hello, everyone. Dante Hunt, work at the BEDC. You can read that paper right there. I love entrepreneurship. I'm passionate about it. If anybody would have had a business advice meeting with me, you would know that I'm a ball of energy and I love what I do. So welcome. And this should be an awesome session.
Just another housekeeping matter. You can answer any, ask any questions throughout the actual webinar. We will reserve that portion to the end, but we can see your questions. So you just click the chat, ask your questions, and we will address them as best we can at the end. So what is debt? Debt is simply something, typically money, that is owed to another party. Companies and individuals often take on debt to make purchases they cannot afford at the time. Debt can be secured or unsecured with a fixed end date, or it can be revolving. And we'll get more into that as we go through the presentation. So when you're looking to acquire debt, we're going to go right into assessing the business and the questions that you should be looking at and asking yourselves as business owners. Whether you're a startup or an existing business, there are some key points that you should consider. Do you know the true financial health of your business? Are you profitable? What is your break even? Do you have the financial acumen to understand your business? If not, do you have someone that can assist or guide you? Do you understand your cash flow fully? What are your peaks and valleys? How long does it take for your business to see set revenue from the services provided or any items that you may sell, depending on the type of business that you obviously operate.
And Takesha, can I just?
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to pop in regarding the financial acumen to understand your business. A lot of people not necessarily understand the financial workings of what is required to operate a business. So I would definitely like to give a push to the BDC because they do offer a program that assists in understanding and using QuickBooks. They have Dante right here, who is a great asset in understanding the financials of your business. And then there are even further courses that you can take, just short courses online, just to give you an understanding of what to look for when operating a business as well. And don't ever be afraid to ask for help. We have people, trusted service providers via the BDC that offer assistance and guidance. I myself also being a bookkeeper who can help you with understanding the dialect or the genre that's used when looking at your business financials to make it easier for you.
In addition to that, you need to ensure that the management and the staff of the business are well versed in the products and services that are being offered for your business, in your business, I should say. Do you know the industry? Are there any economic, environmental, and political influences that may affect the business operations? Do you have a contingency plan in place? Do you know your competitors? How do you differ? Not all debts are equal. There are good debts, there are bad debts. And when we say good debts help to increase the wealth of the business, help to increase profitability. It may also increase the assets or assist with the assets that you're actually purchasing for the business. Good debt will also, like I said, bring you to profitability and help the business to maintain itself throughout the life of the business. And then there are bad debts. We'll get into that as we go on, that actually devalue your business or also depreciate the assets that you're actually purchasing. Now we're going to discuss some products that are available to you locally for financing and to assist you with running your business. Dante?
Yeah. So, I mean, let me just sort of dress back a little bit. I did want to make comment to the financial side that we talked about a little bit ago. You know, when you start a business or when you're looking to start a business, financials and a knowledge of financials is key. When I say it's key, it's imperative. It's imperative because without that, it's like having a child and not parenting that child yourself, or giving that child over to someone else, and then going to that other person that you gave that child to and saying, I'm the real parent, so how is that child doing? Right? That's what you're doing. So for many and most, financials is like the boogeyman. It's scary. It's like numbers all over the place. What goes where? How do I do a projection? You know, all of this. I want to say that no matter how scary it is, parenting is scary. Let's use that one. For those of you who are not parents, I think you kind of understand what I'm saying. Parenting is scary, but you got to do it. You got to get stuck in. You can't just, send the child off to an orphanage and then see what's going on, right? So financials. You can get education from a little bit from us. I learned a lot from. I learned the majority of my stuff from the university. It's a great university. It's called University Google, and Google has a great partnership with YouTube. Dude, they gave me like, and it's ongoing learning. I just use YouTube today and Google to find out a piece of QuickBooks that I didn't know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. Financials.
Yeah.
All right,
and we'll get into that a bit more in a few more slides. We're going to really get into the nitty-gritty of that.
Now, what about niching?
Sorry?
Niching is very important as well, because let's say you can be in a business and let's say decorating, and you're servicing everybody. You're trying to mix in with all the other competitors that you have, but maybe your special sauce of decorating may be picnics, and niching down on picnics may be more beneficial to you than trying to do weddings and birthday parties and everything else in between. So that also assists in creating financial health within your business as well.
Yeah, so that's all a part of when you're prior to even getting into acquiring any debt or making a decision as to what debt you're going to acquire, just having the full assessment of your business. You know, everybody, entrepreneurs are dreamers. Everybody has a dream. Everybody wants to do this. Everybody has a great business idea. Okay, where do you fit in? How are you going to bring that business idea to fruition? What makes you different? You know, do you have the knowledge about the products and services that you're going to deliver in order to get to that place? So, you know, that's all a part of the beginning phase. And even as an ongoing business owner, as you, Dante, just said, you're going to continuously have to educate yourself on various things that you'll have to do throughout the life of your business.
Okay, so we've established if you're a startup business or your existing business, you need to have a good grasp of financials. So you've gotten to the point you're a startup. Let's say you know you or an existing business. You've got your financials down pat, and with that, you're able to ascertain the amount of funds that you would need, or you can say I'm profitable and I can use some funds in order to get into this good debt. This good debt, which is something that's going to augment your business and create some revenue, right? Create some revenue. That's great, and it's at a great interest rate. Or we're talking about products. It's the right product for you. All right, let's go through it. So a loan. So when you're looking for a loan, so we all know what a business loan is. You go to the bank, you might come to the BDC, you might go friends and family. The things that you need to understand about a loan, many of you may know this, many of you may not, is the interest rate, of course, how long the term is, which means the repayment. That's going to equal, obviously, your monthly payment. That's pretty straightforward. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I want some questions at the end. And you might use that loan to buy a van. You might use that loan to deal with some debt that might have, you want to consolidate some debt that may have been associated to a one-time occurrence, for instance. That's what a debt consolidation loan is for. So you had a one-time occurrence, construction, renovation, and it went over, and you're like, man, it's gonna, you know, it might take me a long time to pay this off. I know my vendors need to be paid. They're small businesses or medium-sized businesses all as well. So I need a debt consolidation loan. And hear me when I say this, debt consolidation loans are for one-time occurrences. It's not like, oh man, these debts associated to expenses that are ongoing, I got to get rid of them. Because what's going to happen? It's going to happen again. You're gonna fall into that bucket again. So we can talk about that offline. Again, BDC, we offer business advice, and we can talk about those ongoing, you know, untenable situation from a financial perspective and how you can get out of that. Then you got the overdrafts. Overdrafts are a particular product which kind of makes sense for certain occurrences. So overdrafts are sort of you can say they're buckets that you can dip into, but then you have to replenish it. Okay, the difference between an overdraft and a loan is that a loan has a tenure, it has a term. So you're going to do a term of say 5 years, right, for a loan. For overdraft, it doesn't have a term. But specifically, that's not the main element of it. What it is, it's a bucket of money that you can dip into, right? And then you are expected to repay it over time. Like, you know, if you have 200,000 in an overdraft, you can take out 100,000. Then it's expected that you pay that back quite quicker than a loan. it's short term. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you have inventory. You just started your business and you need to get inventory of $100,000. Now, you know, based on experience as an existing business, or if you're a startup, based on your research, that you can make that money back within 3 months. Because I say retail, I say 3 months associated to retail, because if you're buying, say, for winter, you're going to sell most of that stuff, right? And then that way you can just go ahead and replenish that overdraft. Typically, hopefully before that 3 months, maybe within a month, depending on how it's structured. We can talk about that later on in the questions. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now with overdrafts, it's different based on the bank that you're going to as well, because some banks will actually require that you have that money up front so they can hold it before they even approve the overdraft.
Yeah, because that they would assess your credit worthiness. So based on your individual credit worthiness, because it may be required that you submit some type of security. You may not have to submit anything, but it is short term. And another thing to note on overdrafts is that interest is charged on what you use. So you'll pay something up front, a fee, and then they'll charge you interest on what you use. But it is not as high as a credit card,
right,
which is something else we'll get into. We'll get to the next slide.
And that interest is per month. So if you use 100,
that's right, it's monthly interest. That's correct.
By the end of that month, you've paid back 50, and you have 50 that's outstanding. You pay on that 50,000. But so it's interesting. You play around with it, right? Now, a letter of credit is just that. It's a letter of credit is just that. It's a letter from the bank, basically guaranteeing potentially a vendor that you're good for the money. And that could be used in, again, cases with retail where, they might want 30 days. They might have a 30-day term for you to pay for that that stuff that you got. And you say, well, I got to do it in 2 months, but I'm good for it. This is typically for an existing business who has been doing, obviously, had a relationship with the bank for some time. The bank says, yeah, we know, we've seen you do it, and here you go. A business credit card, don't like it.
We don't like that.
Business one off this. No, I'm kidding. There is. I'm not kidding though. But so business credit cards have the highest interest rate of any of these products. It by far. Sometimes it's tripled, right?
Yeah.
Or more, quadrupled. I don't know. So a credit card, typically they don't have the interest rate in big bold because it's so high. It's like baby print. You need bifocals to see it. It's like 20-something% plus. Why would you need a credit card? Okay, so you might say, I need a credit card for the same reason why I need a overdraft. Because you can't, you know you're going to pay it back within a month or so. But if you can't, the difference is you're paying triple or quadruple the interest rate that you would pay for overdraft, right?
Yeah.
I always feel if you don't have the income or the revenue or the profit in your bank, then you probably don't want to use this. Now, here's when I think you can use this. It's interesting. Credit cards come loaded with all of these benefits. You get travel miles, you get discounts here and there. So I would use a business credit card, not for purchases that I don't have the funds in my bank account for, that I don't have the bank account. I would use it for purchases that I do have the funds in my bank account, and I want to take advantage of all the benefits that are loaded within these credit cards. So I'm taking advantage of the credit card, right? By making my cash in my bank, if you will, bigger. So that dollar is a dollar plus benefit from the credit card.
Yeah.
That's why
but also,
what else
Dante, can we speak to the fact of the money mindset of paying that money back? So if you're making that $150 charge on your credit card, send that money right back to your credit card after
Yes,
you've purchased.
yes,
Don't wait for the
absolutely,
due date
Sharina.
when the interest is incurred, and then it goes up twice as much as it was when you originally purchased that item. Take that money and send it right back over to the credit card. It goes right back down to zero, and you start from ground up again.
Madam
Absolutely.
Thomas, you hit it right on the head, because don't wait 2 days because you might forget. You do it the same time. You use the credit card, rush to your phone, do it on your phone, transfer it to the credit card, rush to your PC, get it done, because then it's over. But yeah, I 100% agree.
A question, can we get back to the overdraft? Can banks call those overdrafts back at any notice?
Yeah, it is. It's actually in the stipulations there. And that normally happens if the customer is not fluctuating in and out of credit. So they'll take it away. Your overdraft's hardcore. They want their money back. They're saying they're not using the product the way the product should be used. They're using it as if it's a loan. And overdraft is not a loan. You know, some people use the overdraft, use all the funding, and then it becomes just a stain on your account, as opposed to the fluctuation that is supposed to happen. So I think that's probably when the bank takes the action. They will increase the rate first. There's a few things that they will have to go through first, but yes, it can be done. All of these things can be taken away from you at the drop of a dime if you don't do the right things, right, or what they expect of you, which we'll get into due diligence in a bit.
And that actually, that's a good point. That actually translates to the loan as well, right? So you've got the stipulations, you got to abide by. Financials is one of them. Goes back to financials. Yeah. Everything goes back to financials. I love financials. I did hate them, but I love them.
Okay. Just quick note before we move to the next slide. Most lenders, some lenders will require that you have some type of security or collateral for any of these products. All of these are based on the credit worthiness of the business and of yourself, your sole proprietor. BEDC does offer loan guarantees to assist with collateral and security, but again, you will have to meet our due diligence requirements in getting to that. With all of these products, you really should go through every single stipulation that is laid out for you. Don't get excited, sign it, and you're not sure what's required. And then you find yourself in some trouble, which we'll talk about a bit more. Okay, all right, guys. So lenders that offer debt solutions locally, you have HSBC, Butterfield Bank, Clarion, Bermuda Commercial Bank, the BIU Credit Union, BEDC, and there are private lenders out there as well.
Shop around.
Yep, shop around, shop around. The next few slides this is where we're really going to actually talk about managing your business and managing the debt throughout the life cycle of the business and even as a startup. So everything that we're going to discuss can be applied to startups or existing businesses, okay? We know that over the past few years, entrepreneurs have really had to work hard to maintain their business, establish business, and even make adjustments with the ever-changing world. Obviously, since the pandemic, there's been rapid changes in how we actually do business, what the consumer expects you to do as business owners. There's also been rapid changes in technology. Business owners have had to be creative, make proactive decisions for their business and apply it as quickly as possible. You know, the pandemic came out of anywhere and we had to pivot very quickly. There are some things that as business owners you should consider when taking on debt, when managing debt, when just managing your business. And we'll go through these slides, and Dante and Sharina and I will discuss this amongst ourselves. So first of all, what is the benefit to my business? When you're looking at debt or anything that you're about to enter into, how will this benefit your business? Everybody is in business to make a profit. So will this assist in purchasing an asset? That will ultimately increase the services that you have to provide? Are you buying inventory that will increase the sales revenue? What is the benefit of you taking on this debt, and what does it bring to your business?
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure, absolutely.
This is a huge one that sounds very, very simple. What is the benefit of my business? Because as an entrepreneur, one's going to say, oh, I know the benefit. I mean, I'm not going to go into debt if I didn't realize, that it would not be a benefit, or it is going to be a benefit to my business. So let's dive a little deeper. Our business, our little baby is just that. And we want the best for our baby. And sometimes what happens is we think that something, let's call a renovation. We think, let's use a renovation example. We would think that, okay, I've got to outfit this thing with travertine tile. I need 3 flat screen TVs that amount up to 20,000. Why? Because it's, I don't know, I need it. It's the best. You see where I'm going? I need a truck. Let's forget the renovations. Let's use another example. I need a truck. So I need a 2027 vehicle, the brand new, beyond brand new, it's in the future, but it costs, my point is, costs like a lot. And really, you can get a secondhand vehicle for a third, a quarter, a tenth of the price. Do the same thing, because that extra funds to have a glitzy, glamorous truck is not, that truck is not doing business development. It's not doing your books. It's not reducing your costs at all. So you gotta be truly understand the benefit of to your business in terms of the cost, because then you're gonna have to deal with that cost. Really try to bootstrapping.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dante, sorry. Let's take it a step even farther down is bootstrapping. Starting with what you have already. Based on your business type, do you have something that you can already put your hands on and actively use? For instance, and what my line of work is, I have a laptop. It was quite outdated, but it worked. And what I did, I put money aside as I went along to incur the funds to purchase a new laptop and purchase a printer and other devices that I needed as business grew. Not getting a brand new laptop and great printer right off the bat. It's just taking your time to acquire the things that you need as time goes on. And there's nothing wrong with putting funds aside. The little coin jar, the little $2 savings game or scheme that some people do, that works just the same. Just putting a little bit aside every month or every week to get that ultimate goal. You want that brand new truck? Well, we're going to use the truck that we got, which is 10 years old. We're going to fix up the rust on it, do a good spray paint job, and get some stickers put on and drive it until we can get the funds to get that truck we really desire. Or we can purchase that great truck from somebody else. Just the same, so you don't have to always get the big, shiny, brand new thing right off the bat.
Yeah, and if you do, I mean, again, what is the benefit? It should have benefit, and it should be propelling your business to profitability. Can you really afford to repay this? So can you meet all the terms of the lender's requirement? It may not just be the repayment on a monthly basis. It may be that the lender is requiring that you show them some financials on a quarterly basis. Can you actually make that promise to them? Can you meet that requirement? That is very important, because then it puts you in a position where you're defaulting, and then the lenders become a bit more aggressive towards you as a business owner.
Sorry, if we keep on doing this, we're going to be here for like 2 hours. But I'll be real quick. Can I really afford to repay this? This goes again back to financials, right? Because if you understand financials and understand what needs to be within each section, it's broken down in 3. Obviously, you got your revenue section up top, you got your expense side, and you got your position, your net position at the bottom. Now, in the middle, the expense side, that's an interesting side. Many of us feel like we have all the expenses thought about everything. Yeah. But you thought about depreciation, particularly those companies that machinery is the beast. That's what runs it, right? And when that machinery has a shelf life, right? You may have gotten the machinery initially hand-me-down or secondhand, or you may have gotten a loan for it. But have you depreciated it over 10 years or the life? And are you putting money aside in a depreciation account to deal with purchasing that thing from cash, or those things with cash, so you don't have to get another loan again? That's so helpful in increasing your net position after that 10-year period. But so when I say, can you afford it? Are you eating or are you using some of your depreciation funds in order to, so there's things that you need to weigh. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Probably, and if this sounds confusing, it's okay, because
Yeah.
now you kind of know, and then you can probably set up an appointment with the BDC for business advice and whatnot. But I will.
So
Can I just point on one more thing? That doesn't always mean you purchasing something for your business. That can also already exist within your business. Things like, let's say, social insurance. You're
Yeah.
gonna be behind on those payments. There's
Yeah.
things like payroll tax, they already exist. Things like you're paying your vendors, those things already exist in operating your business. So take those into consideration, as that is not just purchasing or getting a loan to acquire something else. It already may just actively exist. And then there's also the avenues of talking to lenders to assist you in alleviating that, which is that
yeah, I'm
consolidation.
getting to that, Serena. You're speeding ahead, sweetie.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So just to go on to the next point, is this enough funding? Right? That's a very important point as well. Many times business owners take less than what they require because they may not qualify, or they may not be meeting all the requirements that the business or the lender is requiring of you, and they take less. So you're starting your business undercapitalized. That rarely works out and normally puts you in a bind. In addition, is it too much funding? Have you secured too much funding and you just can't pay it back? Again, you just have to, again, we're going to get to the making a full assessment of the business. Is this correct for your business? We're also looking at the products, whether the product, we just had a few slides before, are these products right for my business operations? Can I make back the money within a 30-day period to pay back this overdraft facility or credit card? Will the overdraft become hardcore? So maybe it's best that I get a loan. So, just again, looking at the full operations of your business, making a good determination on whether the product is best for you. And if you don't know, again, ask, do I fully understand my cash flow? For all of us on this webinar right now, this is probably the biggest point. Understanding cash flow and your cash conversion cycle. It is important to know if you can meet any obligations within the cash flow cycle that you are currently operating in. Cash is king. Do you want to jump in, guys?
This is Dante's area of expertise right
Yeah,
here.
no, I think I've beat it to death, and I probably beat it a little bit more. But financials. Financials is your roadmap. It's a roadmap. Let me use that analogy. The numbers will tell you where to go, what to do. And if you don't know them, then you're kind of lost. It's your map, right? So get on those financials. Leave it there.
And just to, for those that don't know, when we're talking about cash conversion, we're talking about from the time it takes for you to offer your service or sell your service or sell your item to the time that you get the money in. So that needs to be fully understood in order for you to make a determination on whether any debt or any obligations, expenses can be met.
Oh, let me just add this one thing. This goes to the accounts receivable. Accounts receivable, right? Some businesses don't have accounts receivable, like your retail store. You come in, they see it, they buy it, you get the cash paid for. You're not waiting to receive that cash. Now, for my service brothers and sisters out there, you go do the service, you might take a little deposit up front. I suggest that. Get some cash in the kitty.
Yes.
Then you might you bill, and then you bill and you wait. Now you have 30 days, but you might get half. You might get 10%. You might get payments over time. Now that's still great. At least you're getting some cash in, right? But this goes back again to knowing your financials, because if you know your historical financials, you would understand the accounts receivable side, and you can project a bit. You can say, you know what, 30% of my clients pay after 30 days. Another 20% pay half, and then pay a half and 60. And then you've got your stragglers who, probably paying you over a 6-7 month period. Then you might have 5% that don't pay you at all, and you've got to go to credit association. But at least you know the cash you know, the cash projection, you know, the historics, you can put it in a spreadsheet, you know the data, and you go from there.
Yeah.
And, sorry,
And
invoicing
again, it comes
promptly.
down to, go ahead, Sharina.
Sorry. So invoicing promptly, again, as Dante had said, is very, very important. So don't be afraid to put on late fees for those stragglers. Those people who still owe you those funds. If you put on your invoice at the bottom, payment within 30 days, late fee of 5% month thereafter, stick to that. If you put at the bottom of your invoice, after 90 days of new payment, it goes to a collections agency, stick to that. Make people responsible for paying you after you've rendered your services.
Yeah.
Any
And
vendor does
equally,
it, you should do too.
yeah, equally as important, you can also offer incentive to get people to pay sooner. You know, so just you know, obviously that's for service providers, but yes, you have to think about every eventuality, invoice promptly, how can I get the funds moving, how can I get the funds in quicker? Are you tracking your expenses and revenue? Like Sharina said earlier in the presentation, we offer a course on QuickBooks for BDC. There's also Wave, which is actually free, and you can go to the internet and download that. Do you have a proper POS system? So if you're a retail business and you're selling, are you scanning each product? Do you know how many products you have left of a specific shirt or whatever? Are you really keeping track of every dollar that comes in and goes out of your business? Very important. Have you created a budget on the forecast? And are you sticking to it? Have you revisited it? Are you looking at it? Does it make sense? Does it make sense for the economy, for the actual industry that you're in at this present time? So all of those things are paramount when you're looking at your business and managing your debt correctly. And
You should be
again,
looking at,
wow, go ahead, Dante.
sorry, you should be looking at your budget and your forecast monthly.
Yeah,
you know,
monthly for sure.
that's
Yeah.
it, right? But
Mhm.
hey, your child, right? Again, we're not sending our child to the foster parents. We're not sending them to the orphanage. We're taking care of our child. So, you know, we're periodically checking temperature checks. How are you doing? Are you okay?
So what about even creating a budget? Let's say you want to only spend $1,000 every month on expenses. You need to take a look at your expenses on a monthly basis, depending on the size of your business. And some expenses you can live without. Some subscriptions you can live without. Some things you can minimize on. So you stay within that range of $1,000, just for example's sake. So a budget is not something that's set in stone. It can fluctuate as the business transitions. But when you're starting out your business, having an idea of how much you want to spend, let's say within the first 6 months, spend out on help, on vendors, on supplies, gives you an idea of how much you really can spend. So it's like using a debit card. If you know you only have $2,000 in your debit card to spend, that's all you can spend for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
You can't go over that. That's your budget.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to pull out of the sky and I'll figure it out as I go. You don't have to wait a whole year to figure out what your budget is. You can set it right here and right now.
Yeah. Amen, Sharina. And then again, we discussed this earlier. Have you asked? You can negotiate terms. Have you asked for a payment plan? Don't be afraid to ask. You may get a better interest rate. Ask around, look around, see what best suits you. You know, I recently saw a story about in the US, and it was a lady that was drowning in credit card debt. And she just went to the bank, asked the questions, and she ended up with cheaper rates right across the board. She didn't think it was possible, but it was just as simple as that. Ask. Okay, we're gonna move on because we're gonna get to some of these questions.
Real quick with this one, negotiate payment terms on debt. This is not just to the bank or BDC. This is directly to your vendor. You can negotiate with your vendor, and you can say, if you get a bill that is, you know, and you're like, I can't afford this, you can say, and they will appreciate your proactiveness. And let me get to what the proactiveness is. You reach out as soon as you get it. You look at your financials because you know what you can afford and what you can't, and you go to them and say, well, look, I'm proposing that I knock this bad boy out in 3 months or 6 months or 4 months, but you know you can. I'm going to give you equal payments of such or payments of such. Give them terms and say, and you know what? 99% of the time, I'm going to say it. If they don't, they'll beat me up. But 99% of the time, they're going to say, cool, because you've reached out, you've given them a payment plan, given them the first payment, and they say, at least I got cash coming in, just like you would feel on the opposite side for accounts receivable.
Absolutely. And I agree with you there. And the same goes with rent sometimes. I've seen that work for rent, you know. So if you have a business that, you know, again, it's seasonal or whatever, so there are times where you make money, sometimes you don't. So you have that conversation with your landlord. Negotiate. Don't be afraid to do that. Okay. Due diligence. We're just gonna. This is very, very, very important, and I hate to rush through it, but it is something that you will have to do with every single entity or anybody that you're borrowing money from. So you will have to provide a business plan for 3 to 5 years. You will have to provide financial information for your existing business or projections, and you'll have to have supporting documentation. So you'll have to have bank statements or market research or something to support why these numbers make sense. Owners of the business in every instance will be asked to provide financial information for themselves. So don't be apprehensive in providing it. It will be asked. We will also ask about other obligations, any other payables that you have, any debt that you have, insurance companies, social insurance, do you have payment plans? And we will ask for proof of all of these things. We'll also ask for invoices. So if you're looking to purchase anything specifically, we're going to need proof of what you're purchasing. If you're an incorporated entity, we will ask for all your corporate documents. You'll have to get a resolution. We'll ask for your memorandum of association. All of these things will have to be provided. If you're looking at a brick and mortar location, leasing. So, you know, we're going to look at the leasing. We're going to look at if you have a 3 to 5 years lease. That will also determine how long we can actually lend to you. Because if you're a retail store and you only have a 5-year lease and we give you a 7-year loan, how will you actually generate income for the other 2 years to pay the loan? So it normally works hand in hand. And again, government taxes are very important. Okay, guys, we moved through very quickly. I do apologize, it was just an hour, but we wanted to be able to address some of the questions that were submitted and any questions that you may have given us today in the chat. So on sign up, there were some questions that were provided to us, and I'm going to ask of Sharina and Dante, and they can assist me in answering.
Sure.
So I'm gonna randomly select questions. So one of the questions is it true that it takes a business at least 1 year to actually make a profit? How would you answer that?
Can you say that again, sorry?
So the question is it true that it takes at least a year for a business to recognize a profit?
I think it depends on the business. I don't know if you can say that you can't say that for across the board, right? There are some businesses who make a profit day one.
Yeah.
You know, they have little to no overheads. The first client, they make money off of. If I'm in a cleaning business, and you know what, I go out and they understand that they have to have all the stuff. I just show up, clean your house, profit. I mean, naturally I have gas, but the money that I just made outweighs my expenses, and so I made a profit. So it really depends on your business model and what you're doing.
Also, if you're pricing your products or services at a rate that's not comfortable, a rate that actually makes sense for your industry, that makes a difference as well. So if you're going to your cleaning business and you think it's comfortable for people to pay $15 an hour, but in actuality, you should be charging $35 an hour based on your expenses. You charge my $35 will cover the expenses of the cleaning supplies, gas to get there, and pay you, and then the business still has a profit once you're finished. You're serving to that individual.
Sorry. Think about it. A business has to be profitable in order to be sustainable. You've got to be able to pay all your expenses,
Yeah.
your loan if you have it, pay your salary. Now,
Yeah.
pay all your expenses, which includes your salary, which includes the loan, that if you got a loan, then you're breaking even, right? You haven't put anything in the bank. Breaking even, because that was up in top, one of the top slides, breaking even is paying everything, including your salary. A lot of people don't include their salary in their in their break, including your salary, and not, unfortunately, not putting anything in your business bank account, but you've paid everything. That's break even, right? Now, if you're not doing that, it's only a matter of time until your business is financially unsustainable, right? So you have to be profitable pretty much day one. If not, or if you're not profitable day one, you might have some cash reserves in order, because now you're in the red. Now
Yeah.
you've paid all your bills. No, you can't pay all your bills, and you got to dip into your cash flow, or I'm sorry, your reserve account, or some account where you have cash. How long can you do that? And you have to have planned out, if that's the case, a short term. That's a short term period, as short as you can, and you got to you truly see is you getting out of that space.
Yeah, and it happens, right? And profitability and profit, it really is after you've met all your obligations, what's left. That money that's left, that, you know, and when I say all your operational expenses, if it's any inventory that you need to purchase, every single thing, the money that's left over after that is your profit. So if your business is doing that on a regular basis, then you have a profitable entity. Is it wise for a new small business to get a credit card? We kind of addressed that, but again, you know, we're all shaking our head. I mean, I looked at the interest rates today for HSBC, for instance, 19.95%. That's nuts, you know. And if you're a startup entity, that is just absolutely too much to take on in the beginning. So I would say no. And we can assist with that. We provide, all of us provide advice on different options that you can actually look at if you're having a hard time generating the capital to start your business. So credit card, we say no. We have another question. They want to know if there's a resource within Bermuda where small businesses can tap into when they're looking for other investors.
There is, you know what, Ignite program. There's the website. I'm so sorry that I can't remember the website. There's a website where basically you can put up all your information about your business. You're basically pitching online. You're pitching your business online. You're talking about, obviously, your business idea. If you're an existing business, you're going to show your traction. You know, if you're a startup, you're going to show the work that you've put in, the research that you've done. Maybe, you know, maybe some of the pilots that you've put through to validate your assumptions. And some of these words you may not understand what I'm saying, or they might be a little niche-y, if you will. We do at the BDC, we have 8-week courses to think like an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship 101, and these terms are readily used and understood, and you would know what I'm saying. Well, you would know them once you take them. So I encourage you to take them. 8-week classes. They're about, what is it, $300, and you get like $7 billion worth of value from them.
In retrospect, yes, there is somewhere to go. We just can't remember the name right off the bat, where you can put your business.
Can you look up Deshaun? Deshaun is a part of our CD unit at the BEDC. CD unit that's absolutely phenomenal, and he's going to throw that website into the chat, I want to say. Thank you.
And just to let you know too, because there was another question and we can kind of segue right into this. Someone asked about equity versus debt, equity debt versus the other debt. Now, when you're looking at equity, any equity product, you remember that these people are looking to become an equity partner in your business. So anytime you're looking at that type of debt, you just have to consider whether that's going to work for you, because they then become an investor and an owner of your business. So
Yeah.
so we can go into that as a rule. Go ahead. I mean, it's a great. It's not nothing wrong with it, but I think that that's something that you would have to assess on a per business basis. And again, we can provide some information on that if you need that. Go ahead, Dante.
I got the
Got the site?
Bermuda investor community. Our awesome executive director threw it in, and it's threw it in the chat, and it's the website is investorcommunity.bm. Investorcommunity.bm.
So I have another one here. I think we have time for a couple more questions here. Is there a maximum proportion of debt to overall starter funding that one should take on? Now, that's a bit of a tough one. I had to look it up, right? And I don't necessarily know if there's a percentage, but it has to make sense. So there are different formulas that we would look at, and Sharina would look at, and we would look at the BDC to see whether the debt can be met. So it is going to be based on your profitability, your cash flow, and the expenses that you're actually having to meet on a monthly basis. So I would say there isn't an actual percentage per se. I mean, on the personal side, they would say 50%. So, you can kind of look at that as a benchmark. I would have said 30 for business, but we really have to kind of look at that, and it would be on an individual basis.
I have a question here from online, if we can just
Yes.
juggle the two. Are late fees in Bermuda? I thought this was changed at some point. Yeah, well, late fees associated to, I figure you're talking about a bank. So late fees get factored in when you sign the contract to open up an account or to get a loan, or any product that they have. It's in the contract, and that's what makes it legal. So, for instance, there's no government legislation that says specifically that a company can or cannot charge.
I think that one might be directed also to the invoices, putting late fees on the invoices.
Right.
Legal.
Yeah, there's no legislation to stop you from doing it at all. So it certainly can be done.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
So
we have another.
Late fees are ridiculous, and they happen to. They're not in a contract, or you can go to consumer affairs, or you can go to bodies that can deal with that. It may be a judicial matter. I don't know, but I'm talking about if the late fee is 100%. It's something crazy.
No, you're doing it based off of a push to make the person pay sooner or alleviate the weight of having to wait for them to pay. But late fees are not governed.
Yeah. So another question that was submitted prior to, how do you calculate interest on debt? So it is a formula that you can use, and you can go onto Google or to any of the websites to get it, but it is principal times your rate, the percentage, times the term. And then you can divide it by 12 and you'll get the monthly, and divide it by 52, you'll get weekly. So yeah, there is an actual formula that is used straight across the board to determine interest on any debt.
I would type in loan calculator in Google, and you'll get 1,000 of them.
You get everything, you get the amortization charge, you'll get everything, and that's important as well. So you know how much interest you're paying on a monthly basis, and how much interest you pay over the life of your name. It will floor you, but yeah, it is good. It is good to know. So I think we have time for a few more. So can an owner's life insurance policy be used as a guarantee for borrowing in a sole proprietorship?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's not something that, yeah.
Here's why, right? If you default, if you as the sole proprietor default on the loan, they're gonna have to kill you to get the money. I mean, I'm not laughing. I am laughing. Yes.
What are the best ways to leverage your debt in favor of your business?
I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit of a difficult question, but again, I think we've touched on this, good debt and bad debt, right? So,
yeah.
you know, yeah, so when you're looking at the good debt, what is the debt actually going to do? How is it actually helping to grow my business? So those are the questions you ask. So I don't know if you're necessarily leveraging the debt, but you're using the debt to help assist you in the growth of your business and to get you to a profitable place. Because I'm assuming you're in business to be profitable.
Here's a good, maybe I think this example would bring it home.
Okay.
Good debt. I run a t-shirt business.
Yeah.
My output is 10 t-shirts a day. I have business, a demand for 40. Okay, you look at what 40 will make you in revenue, which is, 300% or so. And then you say, well, if I buy this machine and I go into debt to buy a $100,000 machine, I can, one, afford the monthly payments based on the terms of the bank, and I'm increasing my revenue. That's leveraging debt to benefit your business.
Yes, that's a very good example. We do have a few more questions, but we've run out of time. I do have a list of all the questions and the persons that submitted them. So we will go through a process over the next couple of days where we will answer your questions, and you have the presentation that you can take time to go through. We thank you all for coming to our webinar today, and I hope that we've provided you with some knowledge and been able to give you some assistance. We are available on a daily basis. Dante at the BDC. Sharina has Nia Concierge. We can also provide that information to all attendees. So if you do require any further assistance, we are available.
But let me say that. If you want to get a hold of me, or we've got a team of us who can help you, or at least try to assist you.
Yeah.
BDC.PM. BDC.PM. Click and set up an appointment.
And you can also reach me. You can also reach me on Instagram, Nia Concierge, NIA Concierge on Instagram, and direct message me, and we can take our conversation from there.
Yes, thank you. We are planning part 2. This was great, and an hour, we knew an hour would be tight, and we may have to consider expanding it a bit more. The next one is July 25th, and we are looking to actually go through actual tangible strategies that have been used and are being used by business owners. So we do have some business owners that will be a part of the conversation, as well as a credit risk officer from he was a credit risk officer of one of the banks. So we can actually go through some actionable strategies. So again, thank you for attending. I hope it was worth your time, and have a great day.
Take care. Bye.